You can now purchase your 2019 Pennsylvania fishing license. Licenses are available at more than 700 license issuing agents across the Commonwealth, at county treasurer's offices, Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission regional offices, and online at gonefishingpa.com. All fishing licenses can be purchased in single-year, 3-year, 5-year, and 10-year increments. We also offer a variety of new voluntary permits. Funds generated from the purchase of these permits are invested directly back into the respective program. Voluntary permits currently support bass, muskie, wild trout in enhanced waters, and habitat waterways conservation programs. You can also purchase a fishing license voucher so you can give the gift of fishing any time of year. Purchase your 2019 Pennsylvania fishing license today at gonefishingpa.com.
Today, the majority of Pennsylvanians fish and boat for the fun and enjoyment of the outdoors. Recreational fishing and boating can be enjoyed with friends and family, and alongside other anglers and boaters. Whether it is to relax in the solitude of time on the water, the challenge of that next catch, embarking on a paddling adventure, or a leisurely powerboat excursion, today's fishing and boating is about building fun memories. In Pennsylvania, we are fortunate that our aquatic resources provide such diverse opportunities to fish and boat year-round. It's something for people of all ages and all skill levels. And the wide variety of fish species and boating locales found in our Commonwealth means that no matter what kind of fishing and boating you prefer, there are wonderful places to enjoy across the state. As the state conservation agency responsible for the protection and management of Pennsylvania's aquatic resources, the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission wants you to have a great time while fishing and boating, and wants you to know more about what we do to help provide these opportunities. Let's take a closer look at some of the major fisheries that add up to angling excitement and fun, no matter where you live in Pennsylvania. Trout. Sections on Spring Creek, Penns Creek, and Letort Spring Run are places to try for a wild trout experience. The Commission also stocks trout in flowing waters, such as the Yellow Breeches Creek and Pine Creek, and lakes such as Canoe Creek Lake and Poe Lake. Largemouth bass are found in most of our lakes, as are carp and catfish. And among many locations statewide, walleyes and striped bass are common in both Lake Wallenpaupack and Raystown Lake, with yellow perch in abundance in Lake Erie and Lake Marburg. From October through early spring, Lake Erie's tributaries are packed with steelhead. Smallmouth bass are readily catchable in most larger flowing waters like the Allegheny, Clarion, Juniata, Susquehanna, and Delaware rivers. In many lakes, you'll find bluegill, crappie, and other panfish in abundance. The Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission's role in providing world-class opportunities to anglers can't be overstated. Its mission and services ensures that you'll have a fun and rewarding fishing experience wherever you go. The Commission raises and stocks many species of fish for anglers to enjoy. Its network of state fish hatcheries, fleet of stocking trucks and volunteers, and skilled fisheries management are all dedicated to providing stocked fish to provide these angling opportunities and experiences. The PFBC also works with sponsor organizations such as sportsmen's clubs, 4-H, schools, and others interested in raising fish, thus creating more than 150 cooperative nurseries which greatly supplement the Commission's trout stocking efforts. The Commission is also involved in habitat improvement so our native fish species can survive and thrive. And it works year-round to maintain and improve fishing and boating access for license holders who spend time on or near the water to catch fish. And catch the fun! Another part of aquatic resource management is regulatory. Rules, designations, and laws are finalized by the Commission. On the water, waterways conservation officers enforce fishing and boating regulations. Their duties also include maintaining compliance with creel limits and fishing seasons, informing anglers and boaters about boating and water safety, and education about the dangers of and penalties for boating under the influence. Pollution investigations, water rescue and aids to navigation, markers and buoys fall under what PFBC law enforcement provides. Another element of aquatic resource management is species protection, especially with native non-game fish, amphibians, and reptiles, and endangered and threatened species and the prevention of invasive species in our waters. It's proven that educated and informed anglers and boaters are better stewards of the resource, both as a responsibility and in the interest of continued recreation for both themselves and future generations of anglers and boaters. This becomes one of the best ways to impart resource management. For the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission, it all comes into focus with our philosophy of resource first, protect, conserve, enhance.
So today we're on Bob's Creek in Bedford County. It's a wild trout stream as well as a stock trout stream. And we're here today to install some fish habitat enhancement structures. We're building a log frame cross vein behind us, and the purpose of the structure is to create a plunge pool or pool habitat on the downstream side of the structure. So the logs are physically used in the stream channel to create habitat, as well as to create a hydraulic jump to keep that pool scoured out on the downstream side. So the heavy equipment's moving the logs, but also placing the rock once the log work is done. The manual labor, our staff and volunteers, as well as staff from Western Pennsylvania Conservancy, are manually drilling and pinning the logs into place to secure them to the stream bottom. We have structures like this that are lasting 20 to 30 years. We're a trout state, and predominantly we're working on trout streams. So we're working to improve these resources around the Commonwealth.
We're at Holman Lake at Little Buffalo State Park, stocking rainbow trout. Most of our Pennsylvania lakes, the fall stocking is usually rainbow trout, but the state also stocks brown trout and brook trout in. We stock about 110,000 trout across the state for our fall stocking, anywhere from lakes to some of the delayed harvest areas. Yep. Here they come. The lake here will provide opportunities for fishing now until the end of February. When the ice comes on, there'll be many anglers out here ice fishing. So now not only do they have an opportunity for panfish, bass, muskies, but now the state also puts a very good supply of trout in for fall fishing opportunities. Yeah, there's lots of opportunities in all the local streams and the lakes to get out and just do a little bit more fishing. The great time, a lot less fishing pressure, but lots of opportunities out there.
Hold him steady. Hold him steady. Yeah,
Well, Little Buffalo State Park, Coleman Lake here, very quiet lake. Come out here kayaking. It's trolling motor only, so it's a very quiet atmosphere, very scenic. Possibly see a bald eagle flying around, catch some fish. Just a great opportunity to get outside and enjoy the outdoors.
You can now purchase your 2019 Pennsylvania fishing license. Licenses are available at more than 700 license issuing agents across the Commonwealth, at county treasurer's offices, Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission regional offices, and online at gonefishingpa.com. All fishing licenses can be purchased in single-year, 3-year, 5-year, and 10-year increments. We also offer a variety of new voluntary permits. Funds generated from the purchase of these permits are invested directly back into the respective program. Voluntary permits currently support bass, muskie, wild trout in enhanced waters, and habitat waterways conservation programs. You can also purchase a fishing license voucher so you can give the gift of fishing any time of year. Purchase your 2019 Pennsylvania fishing license today at gonefishingpa.com. The Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission reminds all boaters to wear a life jacket during the cold weather months. From November 1st through April 30th, boaters are required to wear a U.S. Coast Guard approved life jacket when operating a boat less than 16 feet in length. This also applies to all canoes and kayaks.
Well, everybody's experienced cold water at one point or another when you got in a shower. Imagine this time of year when the water is 40 or 50 degrees or as close to freezing it can be, and you're submerged when you weren't expecting it. This is a paramount piece of safety equipment to keep your body afloat above that water level so you don't inhale that water, and keep you warm and keep you afloat until someone can get there for you.
Nearly 80% of all boating deaths occur when boaters are not wearing life jackets, especially during fall and winter. Be sure to select a life jacket that fits and is approved for your boating activity. For more safe boating tips, visit fishandboat.com. And wear it, Pennsylvania!
Okay, so what we're doing here today is we're spawning brown trout. What we have here are 3-year-old females on the left and 2-year-old males on the right. And this is called the dry method. So what we do is we take our females out of the sedative, dip this down in the fish down in the water to get the drug off. Hold the fish up and actually put the eggs down into the bucket here. So we're stripping the females of the eggs. There's roughly 1,000 eggs per pound of female. So we're looking at 3,500 to 4,000 eggs per female. These fish will actually be stocked in the 2019 season, so they get spawned once. And then they get used for stocking purposes. Normal process, we use 8 females to 5 males. And Joe here is going to show us how he puts the males in. So there's the male. The eggs aren't actually being fertilized just yet. When we put water on them over here, we'll mix water into the eggs and the milk, and that will make the milk, the sperm, active and enter the egg. Just a little background, the eggs are actually a fertilized fish today. In 18 months, we'll have a 10 to 12 inch trout, adult trout, in just about a year and a half, 18 months.
In the fall of each year, the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission collects hundreds of thousands of eggs from spawning brown trout at the Linesville State Fish Hatchery. Eggs collected will be used to grow the next generation of brown trout, raised to fingerling size at the hatchery, then grown out to adult size by many of the Commission's cooperative nurseries. 4-year-old fish used for spawning, called broodstock, can weigh upwards of 10 pounds each. Many males are identified by a signature hook jaw. Robust female brown trout can produce more than 5,000 eggs per collection. Once eggs have been collected over several days of spawning activity, these trophy-sized fish can be stocked. This year, hatchery staff, waterways conservation officers, and volunteers have stocked more than 600 of these large brown trout into Lake Erie tributaries to supplement the thriving steelhead fishery. Many successful anglers have shared their stories and pictures on the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission Facebook page. And you can learn more at fishandboat.com. The Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission's Cooperative Lake Habitat Improvement Program has been in existence for over 20 years. These underwater videos highlight some successful placements where small and large fish alike are now thriving around many man-made structures. Artificial habitat is structure designed to provide habitat features that allow fish, reptiles, and amphibians to accomplish their daily and seasonal tasks with greater efficiency. Man-made habitat is considered artificial because it does not occur naturally. For the most part, the man-made habitat is used in man-made impoundments, which themselves are artificial aquatic environments. While artificial habitat is good for fish, it can also provide opportunities for anglers to have greater success if the habitat is accessible. By visiting fishandboat.com, you can find maps of where artificial habitat structures have been placed. The main objective of the program is to increase the abundance of submerged native habitat materials, primarily wood and rock rubble, through engineered structure design that mimics native or natural habitat found in Pennsylvania lakes and ponds. This combination of habitat improvement for aquatic animals and the ability for the fishing public to find greater success is a win-win lake management tool.
Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission is recruiting a new class of Waterways Conservation Officer trainees, and it's the first time in 5 years that a class has been recruited. Here to tell us more about how to become a trainee is Lieutenant Colonel Larry Furlong. Larry, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, welcome aboard. So talk to us about what Waterways Conservation Officers do.
What we do, we are basically the law enforcement for all of the water in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So we are the ones that patrol it on boats for safety. We are the guys that actually stock fish, check licenses. That we also do pollution investigations. If there's a boat accident anywhere in the Commonwealth, we are the agency that's responsible for doing the investigation.
So it's really kind of a variety of things from, as you said, wildlife to safety.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how many officers are you looking to recruit here?
Right now we are looking to put on 20 Waterways Conservation Officer trainees.
Oh wow, so that's a pretty good number. So what kind of a person would make a great trainee?
Anybody who's enthusiastic about the outdoors, wants to get into law enforcement, this is the perfect opportunity to do so.
Similar to my job, I always say the weather changes all the time. It really sounds like you guys are involved in different things, so I'm assuming it's never boring.
Our job is never boring. It is outdoors. It is not a desk job.
Yeah.
Although all police officers generate paperwork, and paperwork is a very important part of the position.
Yes.
However, you do get to meet interesting people. You'll be all over the Commonwealth. It's definitely a life changer.
Wonderful. All right, remind us again how to apply and how to get more information.
You could go to the employment.pa.gov website, or you could go to fishandboat.com. There's a link right on our homepage.
The Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission Steelhead program begins on the shores of Lake Erie.
We're at Avonia Beach at our nursery water for trout run. We're out here collecting steelhead brood for our steelhead program. We're up here hoping to get somewhere around 700 steelhead adults that we'll take back to the hatchery. We'll sort them, males and females, and proper weight. Then the following week, next Wednesday, is when we'll actually do a spawn on them. We're fortunate today. We have a group of Oil City High School students here to help us out today. We have some volunteers from Clarion University. I have some state reps, a senator. It's real nice for us to have all this help out here.
All right, well, just hand that front right up to me there, all females. We got all females right in here, trying to separate males and females before we get to the hatchery to get a count on them so we know how many we're going to need for our spawn.
So every fish that's caught from the trout run collection site is brought back to the Fairview hatchery. They're all put into a designated pen. Soon after they're in the designated pen, we set up barrels with aqueous, which is an anesthetizing drug for the fish. We then weigh the fish. Each fish, male and female, are injected with a liquamycin antibiotic drug into the eggs or into the gametes of the male, which helps us prevent cold water disease in our hatch house.
All right, so we got a female here. We're squirting the eggs into the colander here. This is the first of 5 they're going to go in here. And after they get drained and rinsed off here, they'll go into these buckets, and then the milk from the males that will come next will get stirred into there. And that's it.
Once we actually use the fish for the spawning method, all the fish are returned back to the lake.
Next, the fertilized eggs undergo a salt rinse before a 30-minute bath in a disinfectant iodine solution. UV-treated water from the Tionesta hatchery is used to rinse and then pack the eggs. From Fairview, the eggs are transported to both the Tionesta and Linesville hatcheries to be hatched and grown to juvenile-sized steelhead called smolts.
We stock steelhead smolts in the early spring, March, April. They'll actually imprint on that stream where we put them at, and then they'll come back the following, hopefully within 2 or 3 years, they'll swim out to the lake and grow out nice and big on all the bait fish out there. They come back, and it's for the anglers to catch them. This is all bought and paid for with fishing license dollars. Your Lake Erie stamp, trout stamp, it all goes into partly paying for any of the programs we do up here in the Lake Erie watershed.